Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. This is going to be the tank guide of what I was talking about in the last video. Or, I don't know if it was a tier video or Fenrir video, I don't really know. But, I said in one of those videos that I was going to make a tank video, and this is where it is. So, the reason I want to go over this is because, well, I've seen a lot of, I've been looking at a lot of Smite videos, um, like trying to see if anyone really has kind of done this before, like just going through breaking down like what's the kind of like the best items or whatever. Uh, there is a lot of tank guides. They just don't really go over like a lot of the key tenant items of what you want as a tank, and like, I don't know. And a lot of them seem to be quite outdated as well. So this is going to be like an updated version, because a lot of the guides I was looking at, that they were still in the version where they had like boots and stuff, and that's no longer even a thing. Not all of them, of course, but there's quite a bit. Um, and I just kind of want to go over what makes a good tank, and well, I'm basically not going to be messing around too much with, well, hybrids or whatever. I'm basically just going to be showing you, like, if you're one of those people that feel like you died too quick because of, late game stage of because of the damagers hitting so hard, I'm going to be showing you, like, some of the most busted, uh, characters you can choose from, and the most just tanky items, and I'll give you suggestions, and I'll show you my personal preference of the build as well. So first off, let me just go over by saying, um, now, the classes, of course, in PvP and stuff like that, uh, it's always going to be Guardians or Warriors that are going to be typically your tanks, as they have, well, either a lot of CC or they have a lot of survivability, self-sustain, etc. Right? This guide is really going to be showing you just a insane mitigation thing, an insane mitigation tank, let's say. Uh, and I'm going to explain to you why I prefer this over the Guardians and Warriors. So the class that I prefer as my, just full blown tank is actually the assassin role. Now, you might be thinking, why? They have less stats. They have less, like they have lower like stats on just their levels than a guardian does, like their health and armor. Like they have lesser than most, all guardians really. So why would I prefer them? Well, here's two of the reasons why. The first reason is the Sigil of the Old Guard is an item that Guardians cannot actually obtain. And, well, this wouldn't be as big of a problem if it wasn't for the fact that there's also another item that they cannot actually get. So you cannot actually get that item. And the other one is the Lono's Mask, which is, I was talking about in the last video. Uh, I don't know if I can find it here. I don't know that they can't have it, but there it is, Alona's Mask. That's what I'm gonna be going over. Uh, between the sigil I just showed you on Fenrir and this mask, the Guardians cannot actually get them, and I honestly don't really know why too much. Maybe it gets to just be OP. I don't really know, but I I just found that interesting. And well, I'm not saying the Guardians can't be tanky. They certainly have their uses, and they can be very tanky. But I'm just going over what I believe is the most broken and most like just powerful tank you can possibly obtain. So this isn't so much supportive. All right, this is just, you know diving into any team fight and just not really caring about damage at all. It's really just you just being, taking all the hits for your team sort of thing. So, without further question, let's get right into it. So, the assassin role, like I was saying, they have these two items. Now, I'll go over them of why they're so good. The sigil, like I said, the guardians, I just showed you that they cannot get these items. And the reason why they make such a huge difference is because the sigil of the old guard gives you a lot of physical and magical armor. Also obtaining a lot of good amount of health. Their passive gives you insane mitigation when they stack. And mitigation, if you are not aware, is by far the strongest form of protection as a tank. It is by far. Even if it's not that much mitigation, it is still going to help you a crud ton. Because it is actually damage that just does not inflict anything upon you. And it just goes to your armor sort of thing. So mitigation and reduction of damage are the two strongest things. Now the only thing that actually does have reduction of damage sort of thing is the Lono's Mask, which is right here. And this gives you negative 15% damage taken, which means that if an attack, basically let's just say this, if someone were to hit you for 400 damage, 15% of that attack would not inflict anything upon you with this. And you put that and you put it in a team fight, that means it's gonna help you a lot. Like, it's gonna help you a lot to take a ton more punishment, which is the Lono's Mask alone. And so that's why I definitely prefer the assassin role. Now, there is the hunter role, which can also have these two items. However, the problem with the hunters, they're really not. You can't really utilize them as well. They don't really have, like for the assassins that I'll be showing you today, they have a lot more survivability and either survivability or getaways or reduction of damage themselves on their abilities. Hunters don't really have that. They are mostly just going to be doing damage, and you wouldn't want to tank with a ranged character anyway. It's just not going to be good for you anyway. A mage, the mage can be pretty good, like Hades. Hades is really good for tanking with the Lono's Mask. I like to go with lifesteal on him, but honestly, like for this, I'm just gonna be showing you what I prefer the most. And as I said before, it's assassin. The assassins are the best because of that starter item. Because even mages cannot get that the sigil, which, like I said, it gives you a lot of mitigation. And that mitigation is really nice, like I said. And as for warriors, they also cannot. Warriors cannot get the Lono's Mask, and they also cannot. Actually, I'm not sure if they. They can get the infused sigil, but they cannot get the Lono's Mask. But the Lono's Mask is what makes the sigil and the Lono's Mask together is what makes it so good, and that's why I prefer the assassin as my personal tank. Guardians are still the best at supportive tanks. Don't get me wrong. They're still the best at supportive tanks for the team. But the assassin role, for what the build I'm about to show you, is basically the best possible tank for just surviving a crud ton of hits. And that's what this whole purpose of the video is. So, without any further ado, I will show you my top 5 most favorited assassins for the tanking. So, for tanking, you want characters that have a lot of lifesteal. You want characters that have reduction of damage, or some sort of survivability tactic. And one of my favorites is Thanatos. Actually, Thanatos does a lot of damage. Even as a tank, he's able to peel pretty nicely with his abilities. He's not as tanky as the rest. He's definitely the weakest assassin of the bunch, but he's able to peel a lot more even as a tank. I definitely like Thanatos for this. However, I don't really use Thanatos all too much for this. But Thanatos is definitely pretty nice to have for it. The other one is Kamazadz. Kamazadz is really nice. I have a build for him here. Um, and I like Kamazadz for tanking because he also has a lot of lifesteal. He has a lot of survivability based on his ult and stuff. His ult allows him to stay in the fight a bit longer because they actually cannot hit him during this. His Essence Drinker, anytime an opponent dies, they turn into a pool, making you able to basically gain health and mana when you're on top of this, which is really nice when you don't gotta go to base as often. The Vampire Bats allow you to heal, which is quite nice, and your Devour allows you to heal as well. So you get a lot of healing. You get your ult. You're able to stay in the fight for a really long time as this guy. He's really nice to have. Now, for my top three, I'll go in order. My third most preferred assassin. Arachne is pretty good, but I don't really use her for tanking. I prefer her as either just a full-on lifesteal build or just a damager. But you can actually make this work with her as well because she has a really good passive for all of her healing as well, and damages. Escapes are pretty nice as well. So, but my top three most preferred are, my third is going to be Fenrir. Fenrir is really nice because you can jump into any situation with his leap, stun the enemy, and then you just brutalize to start peeling the enemy for your damagers. You can use Seething Howl to heal yourself and to get a few more hits on them, really to peel the enemy even further with the for your damagers to do the finish them off sort of thing. And Ragnarok, of course, being his giant form where he carries people away, is also pretty nice to get your get people off of your damagers if you need to, or provide your damagers by just holding the enemy and having them just blast the hell out of them. That's also pretty good for it. So Fenrir is really nice for peeling and just staying alive in a fight as a tank. Nemesis is going to be my second favorite tank because she has that insane shield. She has good slows. She does a lot of, for some reason, she has quite a bit of damage even as a tank, like full tank, even with the Lotus Mask. Like low, her damage is low with it, of course, but it's not low enough to where they can just straight up ignore you. Like, they actually will die to you pretty quickly if they don't deal with you. And that's kind of a big deal if you're going with this build that I'm showing you today, you're going to be tanking a crap ton, and they're going to need multiple people to take you down. Unless they have, like, a crap ton of power, but even then, like, I've tanked quite a bit against people that had, like, 600 power with this build. And I'll show you that here soon, because I have the full thing. I have all the possible items for Set here, which I believe Set is number one. Number one is Set for me, for my preference. I find him the most viable as a tank. And the reason is he has good attack speed. His lineup is pretty nice. Gives you a slow and you dash forward and stuff. You have his clones, which do a pretty decent amount of damage, especially when you're using his ult, because you can just spam the living crap out of them and just swarm your enemies with it. So you do quite a bit of peel even without any damage cards. Your reduction of damage, which is a sandstorm, is what makes it even all the better. You get that 10% damage reduction. It doesn't seem like a whole lot, but it really is. It's a crap ton. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. Because with this reduction and all the cards I'm about to show you, you get so much reduction. It is insane. But yeah, he's able to peel the best out of everyone. He can heal. He can, he can tank a crap ton. And I actually learned this by the AI because I was fighting the hard AI, and Set for some reason is insanely tanky, and I went to see like what his kit is about, and I saw Sandstorm. I was like, huh, I wonder how a tank set would be. And soon enough, I found out that set is actually my favorite tank now because he's actually really good at it and he's able to peel pretty good. But here's all the cards that I've chosen. Uh, I'll explain each one here. Why I have them here and so forth. So let me just get rid of all these. Uh, there we go. Oh wait, yeah, okay. But here's all the cards. Here's everything that I suggest for you. Uh, the best tanking stuff and all. So okay. So I don't use all of this, but I'll explain what each thing is for. So the Sigil of the Old Guard is what I usually always go for because, like I said, it is really nice. It gives you a lot of mitigation, gives you a lot of armor, health, and a bit of damage. Not much, but it'll help you deal a bit more peeling. And with the passive being so good with that mitigation, because it says for whenever you are hit by an ability, you gain a stack of Rebuke, providing an additional 4% damage mitigation for 8 seconds, and this can stack up to 3 times. And that equals up to 12 damage mitigation, which with Sandstorm, that's already 22% mitigation, which is, of course, really nice. So that's why I have this preferred as my starter. The other option is going to be Sentinel's Embrace. Gives you a crap ton of armor and health. Although, I do note, if you're going to use this build on PvP, I do recommend Set to either be your support or for him to be a solo laner. And if he's a solo laner, don't ever go with Sentinel's Embrace because the support lane is probably going to go with this card because it's the best support card in the game at the moment. It's super good for your entire team. There's no reason why your support wouldn't have this. So if you're not a support set, don't pick up this item. Go for Sigil of Guard or one of the other ones. But for now, Sigil of the Old Guard is your best option if you're going solo lane. If you want to be the support, go Sentinel's Embrace. The other one is Anomsum. God. Whatever. I suck at pronouncing this crap. But basically, Animosity. There we go. Animosity. Whatever. I said it right once. But whatever. This card gives you a lot of health. It gives you a good passive. Your basic attacks deal bonus damage equal to 3% of your maximum health. I actually don't use this one. I actually don't use this one too much. It is magical damage as well. So, but it does still make your damage higher. It's just I don't really prefer it anyway. Mainly because I'm just going for a full tank. I'm not really trying to do much with my basics. But if you want that extra bit of damage, this is an option for you. I don't really recommend it myself, but I had to choose something here because I was just trying to put everything in here. But this is a pretty good item if you want to be a bit more damaging and more able to peel the enemy better. If you want this item, you can go for it. Hero's Axe is also really good. I'll choose this over Sigil of the Old Guard sometimes if I see a lot of stunners on their team. It's pretty good because it gives you 30% crowd control reduction. Allies, when hit within 55 units of you, is hit by hard crowd control, gives them a shield equal to 15% your maximum health, which, of course, since you're going full tank, you're going to have a lot of health, and that's going to be very helpful for your guys. So, Hero's Axe is pretty good. Gives you good armor, gives you good health, crowd control. It's pretty good. I'll choose that for anytime I see a lot of stunners on the enemy team. Like 2 to, well, really 3 stunners. I'll probably get Hero's Axe. Like 3 major stunners, I mean. Lono's Mask is, of course, the other key tenet in this build. This is a core asset to the build, is Lono's Mask. Lono's Mask gives you a insane, it gives you good It gives you good armor, it gives you crowd control reduction, and it gives you a bunch of health. It also gives you 15% damage taken. Now, here's when the math gets crazy, right? I've already said that the Sigil of the Old Guard, when it gets fully stacked up there, because let's be honest, when you get hit by abilities, you're going to be, and you're in the front lines, right? You're going to be getting hit by abilities constantly. So this is pretty much always going to be like max, let's be honest. And so basically what I'm trying to get at is you already have 22% damage reduction with this and Sandstorm. This allows you to get even 15%. This isn't even negation. This is just pure, like, damage not taken. So, entirely, you basically get, you basically get 30, 37 damage taken, like, 37% less damage taken with just 2 items in your ability. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you get a lot of mitigation, and we're not even close to, showing all of them. So just these 2 items alone make you super tanky. High of the Hurricane, really good warrior item and really good tank item. Gives you 51 physical and magical when it's max. 250 health, 250 mana, and gives you a shield. That's also pretty decent. Not much to complain about this item. It's pretty good if you want to get a well-rounded, armored-up tank. Spirit Robe is another one of my key tenets. Spirit Robe gives me 40 physical, 40 magical, 10% cooldown. That 10% cooldown will help you a bit with the, It'll help you with the peeling. It'll help you peel your enemies a bit better, because you'll be able to spam your abilities a bit more, and gives you crowd control reduction. And you also, you gain an additional 15% mitigation for 3 seconds whenever you are hit by a hard crowd control effect or root. This can only occur once every 15 seconds, which isn't bad. 15 seconds, I mean, and it gives you all that juicy armor, so that's what we're going for. And that passive is really nice as well. To get that, 15% mitigation, because when you're rooted or hit by a stun or something, you're gonna be taking a lot of damage from those damagers. So this is the great item for you when you get into a bad spot, a bad situation. Really good item, and if you have this stacked with all the other things we've already discussed, that means you're up to like 40 or something, 40 to 50 like mitigation, which is freaking insane. Then another core tenet of mine is Oni's Hunter's Garb. Oni's Hunter's Garb is going to be helping you get a lot more magical regeneration, like mana per 5 seconds. So you'll be getting, this will lead you up to 42 magical per 5 seconds. So not too bad. 20% crowd control reduction. Honestly, we already have so much crowd control reduction. I didn't even realize that so many items give you it. So you're probably already at max crowd control reduction. I don't know where that stat is. They used to have it on here, but they kind of got rid of it, I guess. But yeah, I think the crowd control reduction thing is like probably max though, because I remember last time I saw it was like 40 out of 40, like when like that was the max you could have, was 40 crowd control reduction. So I think we're already at max with all this. So that's pretty good. So a stun you'll be able to get out of a stun really quick with this build. For each enemy god, though, within 55 units of you, you gain a stack of 3% mitigation. So if there's 3 gods around you, you get 9% damage mitigation, which, let's be honest, as a frontline tank like you're always going to have this pretty much stacked, and especially in late game when you're just constantly getting into team fights, you are going to have 9% mitigation, pretty much as a passive at that point, when it comes to team fights and stuff. So for the damage side of things, I chose these. I don't really ever go with any of these. I'll put Void Shield on for my warriors, but never really for like a tank like I'm going for. I'll put Blackthorn sometimes as my tanks, just because they get that buffer of health, but that's about it. Runic Shield I chose because of the 35 physical power, but the aura Enemy gods within 55 units of you have their magical power reduced by 40, which will help you pretty nicely. Less damage for, like, this will give your enemy mages less damage to put on top of you, so that's always pretty helpful. Blackthorn's hammer, pretty good for any warrior, really, if you're needing to use your abilities anyway and stuff. 40 physical power, 400 health, 200 mana. Not much to complain about. You gain 10% cooldown while over 25% mana. Under it, you'll gain a crap ton of mana regeneration. Honestly, with this build, I've never really had too many mana problems, so I don't really choose it too much. Mystical Mail gives you that 200 health. The tank side is not really what's going for. It's really just that aura where you do damage around you. I only do this when I troll or do reflection damage to my enemies. That's about all I do with Mystical Mail, though. Like I said, Void Shield, I'll choose it sometimes for my warriors, but that's about all I go for it. For this build, though, I don't really use it. If you want to be more of a supportive tank, I guess, make your enemies lesser in armor, you can do that, I guess. But because, like I said, you can either do a solo. If you are a solo lane set, this wouldn't be a bad item for you to pick up to help your guys out for reducing the enemy's physical. But I mean, I don't really pick it up that much, so it's up to you, the preference. Gauntlet of Thieves. This is another core tenet of mine. Gauntlet of Thieves. If you're trying to build any tank, like at all, always build Gauntlet of Thieves. Always. There's no better item in the entire game. I mean, there's a couple good competitors, but Gauntlet of Thieves is definitely the best because it honestly gives you, a pretty good aura for your guys. The only thing that's better than Gauntlet of Thieves is Sentinel's Embrace, mainly because the Sentinel's Embrace gives your it's mainly the aura that's better. The aura is just insane. Gives your guys like a tremendous amount of armor, but that's about it. Gauntlet of Thieves, though, for any tank, gives you 300 health, 50 physical and magical, and really I think 60 actually because of the aura effect, because the aura effect still affects you as well. So you get that buffer of armor when it gets maxed, and it's always a good item to pick up as a support, as just a general tank. So, pick that up whenever you can. Gauntlet of Thieves is definitely one of the main tenets, one of the core tenets you want to build on it. Pretty much every Guardian, in my opinion. Sovereignty is another core tenet of mine, mainly because it gives you that supportive side a bit more, and it gives you good health, it gives you good physical protection, it gives your health regeneration, it gives you more health regeneration, which is quite nice, because with this build, you don't have lifesteal. This is just for straight up tanking a crap ton of damage with the mitigations, so that's what this is for. So you're not really going to be really healing that much, so this is definitely going to help you quite a bit for just healing, with that aura and all that, and plus Gauntlet of Thieves is going to help you with that too. So for general healing, these two items will help you quite a bit. So that's my full build right there, you can see. But we'll go over the last couple items here. Spectral Armor is also pretty good for crit. Now, I've never used Spectral Armor too much. I don't see it. It's good, I guess, but I prefer Mitigation, honestly. Mitigation's a lot better, in my opinion. If you want to try it out and prove me wrong, I guess, you can put this on and see if it does better for you. I personally don't think it does much. Unless I'm Geb. I love putting it on Geb because he already has that passive, and putting this on top of that is insane. But it's just for crit, though. It's not like, because you can still do a lot of damage even without crit. So that's why I don't really go for this item, because even without crit, you can still hit for like 500-600 damage. So that's why I don't really go for that. But this is another core tenet. I'll actually choose this over Always Hunter Garb, because Bulwark of Hope is insanely good. It gives you magical protection, health, crowd control reduction, which, like I said, with this build you already have max of, but still. Passive, when you take damage and are below 40% health, you gain a shield with health equal to 15% of your maximum health for 20 seconds. And this is what makes it so good. This is what I almost prefer over always under guard at times. Because that the enemy almost has you killed, but that shield can help you for quite a bit. Like, it'll help you take a lot more damage once it activates and stuff. It won't recharge for 60 seconds, but 15% of your health is pretty significant. It's a pretty significant shield as a tank. So, Bulwark of Hope is really nice for that last stand sort of thing for your tank. I definitely would choose this over guard at some point. But for general like team fight, because I just play reckless as crap, I usually just go only guard because I'm always in my team fights. I'm always just like pouncing in like an army, just not giving a damn really. But for relics, we have Meditational Cloak, obviously good for healing and getting mana. Not as useful late game, but I'll still use it just to help my teammates out a little bit more, because I don't really have much to help my team with, so this is a quite nice item to have. Magic Shell is another one. I like to have Magic Shell because it's really tanky. It helps you against helps you and your allies against like those mage ults a bit more. They'll still do a crap ton of damage in late game, but that Magic Shell will help you quite a bit against it. So reduce from yeah. I really like Magic Shell though. It's quite a nice ability or relic. I mean, Aegis Amulet. It's good. It makes you vulnerable for 1.5 seconds. I don't ever use it though as a full-blown tank. I don't think anyone really does, and the reason is because it's only 1.5 seconds, and honestly, you're gonna be surviving a lot longer than that anyway, as a full-blown tank. And Meditational Cloak and Magic Shell will keep you up in the fight a bit longer, I feel. That's in my opinion, though. I don't think Aegis Amulet's really that great, unless you're a damager, because a damager, if you time it right, you can survive from an ult, which is really nice. But as a tank, you really don't need to, especially as one with so much mitigation, like Set, and with this build. This is not really too useful because you don't really need it. You already tank a lot. But for those damagers, you definitely want this and beads probably. Shield of Thorns is really nice to have against carries. I'll definitely trade this out with Meditational Cloak. I'll actually go Magic Shell first and then Thorns, because Thorns won't do too much at the beginning, but by God, it'll do a crap ton in late. Because when you reflect a carry's damage in late game, it can probably kill them if they're not careful, which is quite nice. For the consumables, we have the Elixir of Defense, and we have the Potion of Power, giving you more defense. You probably won't need it though. With this build, you should be almost at max for both physical and magical protections. But if you want that little buffer of defense like I do, because I'm a greedy boy for defense, you can do that. You can just trade this. Item out for Elixir of Power if you wanted to. It's all up to you, just personal preference. Potion of Power is also just something I pick up because it's only 500. Late game, you'll probably get this every time, and just throw it on there to get that buffer of damage. Yeah. And of course, for tanking, you obviously want probably potions at the beginning, like the Chalice of Healing and just a regular healing potion. And that is going to wrap it up. This is what I prefer. You can make a pretty good build with any of these items. I wouldn't recommend more than 2 damage items if you want to be a tank, but like a full-blown tank. But that's just my personal opinion. Do whatever you want. And yeah, this has been how to make your tanks just unkillable. I'll probably make a video soon of how powerful this these builds are. I'll probably go into a hard AI mode just to show you how much they, because I think I've proven in the last two videos that the AI carry just is honestly probably better to a freaking player, because they never miss for one, and they're buffed to high hell. Because they have crappy builds for them, and yet it still works. Like, I don't, like, it still does a crud ton of damage. But even with their buffs, it's like I can still tank quite a bit. So me and my friends will probably like end up making a video between all three of the tankiest assassins, which, like I said, is Fenrir, Nemesis, and Set, in my opinion. These three right here are probably the best for survivability, tanking, and everything else. And with these builds, I'll have to show you with my friends how powerful we can be with these three, just how much we can tank. Maybe even in a PvP match, we'll see. But if you enjoyed this, thank you. I hope it works out for you. Whatever you choose for how you build your tanks in Smite. But this is my personal preference right here because of just how good it is. And I mean, like I said, I definitely just prefer the Assassin because of the Sigil Old Guard and the Lotus Mask. They're not better support tanks, but they're definitely just better in just tanking in general than a Guardian. And like, I don't know, I feel like I tank a lot more, and based on my stats, like at the end of the game, it definitely shows it, because I've been in a match for an hour as a Guardian, and I only tanked like about 100 something thousand. Meanwhile, as a Assassin Set, I was in a match for like 30 minutes and I tanked over 200,000 damage, like mitigated. So, I mean, 200,000, that's insane. Like, in 30 minutes. Imagine if it was an hour, probably like 4 to 500,000. I mean, that's insane in comparison to, you know, the Guardian. And I was using Kepri, I think, too. Kepri or Geb, which are pretty good at tanking. But that's gonna have to wrap the video up. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. Again, this is what my build is for Set. All these items: Sigil the Old Guard, Lona's Mask, Spirit Robe, Oasis Garb, Gauntlet of Thebes, and Sovereignty. Relics, Meditation Cloak, Magic Shell, Consumables, Elixir of Defense, and Potion of Power at the very end. Alright, so that's gonna wrap it up here. Yeah, so if you want to see more of this, please let me know in the comments below. And as always, I'll see ya next time.